The people here at Goodwill are amazing. Everybody here tries to work with the individuals. They make sure that their needs are taken care of. And when you don't have that, it's a weird feeling.
When the studio closed, it was definitely a disruptor where not seeing those people, not having those, familiar patterns to fall back on was definitely bizarre.
For a number of the artists, they had a number of other outlets in terms of how they could cope with this. Some artists, meeting with them once a week through Zoom was enough to have a point of reference to work and say, we see you, you're not forgotten, you're in our hearts and minds, we can't wait until you get back here, With some other people, like Charlotte, it was really essential to physically be there with her.
I really needed it because my depression was really getting bad. And when you're used to coming to a certain place and that's kind of whacked out of your life a little bit, then it affects you. It affected me because I'm used to being around everyone in the art room. And when that little bit of space happened, it bothered me a lot.
The isolation really affected her in the sense that, when I talked to her on the phone, all the answers were down to one-syllable answers, yes or no. As time went on, it just kind of got worse. A lot of her energy is based off of interacting with other people, and I could probably say that for a lot of the other artists also. So yeah, dramatic change in her demeanor and I would even say her mental health.
What I guess felt like the most natural way to help Charlotte was to attempt to bring what we could of the art studio to Charlotte because the studio had been shut down and Charlotte really feeds off the sense of community that she finds at Goodwill. So what we were able to do was, pack up some supplies and go to Charlotte's apartment and work with her there.
When Cody and Nicholas came to my house, I was like, I'm back in the art room now. So it made me feel really good.
That came through some special funding through the DODD, Department of Developmental Disabilities. And that enabled Nicholas and I to go into Charlotte's home throughout the week for a set period of time to create art with her in her home.
I was glad to really see them, to come from the art studio to come to my house. So it made me feel really good.
This was an essential service for Charlotte for her mental health. The pandemic, the isolation that it created, really weighed on her. So it was needed for her, for her mental health during that time for us to, be there and work on the artwork with her.
The way I was feeling, I didn't feel isolated. My depression got better. I didn't feel like I was by myself.
Yeah, just to be able to kind of, in some small way, go in the foxhole with her and be able to just talk about all the beautiful, amazing things going on in our lives right now, even in the midst of the pandemic, and that Goodwill and DODD kind of gave us that opportunity to be able to do that with her. It was a great privilege. And I think it really paid off, and it was great to see the results.
They did a lot for me. You have to feel a lot to work with people that have different disabilities. It has to come from here. And you have to love what you do.
The artwork that I've involved myself in has been, largely through colleges and universities and gallery exhibitions. And sometimes you can kind of question that and wonder what kind of positive effect is it actually having on a broader community. But in this instance, being able to work with Charlotte in such a direct way and see positive outcomes and, the value of not just community and human interaction, but that, artwork can be a facilitator for that good.
I'm doing great today. I'm glad to be back in the art room. I'm glad to be back with my family. I'm back at Goodwill.